In this lesson, we will demonstrate how to write a fractional percent as a fraction. But before we examine this problem, let's look at an easier example. Let's review how to write 40% as a fraction. "40% may be written as a fraction by dropping the percent sign and writing the number over 100, yielding 40/100ths. However, with any fraction, we always want to make sure that we have it written in completely reduced form. And that means that there should exist no factor common to both the numerator and denominator. So when we consider the numerator, which is 40, and the denominator, which is 100, we see that 40 and 100 both contain a common factor, namely 20. As a result, we can rewrite both 40 and 100 as the product of 20 and some other factor. So rewriting 40 as the product of 2 times 20 and rewriting 100 as the product of 5 times 20, we may then simplify our result, yielding 2/5. So 40%, when written as a fraction, would be written as 2/5. Now let's return to our original problem and see how to write 3/4% or 3/4% as a fraction. Now we're going to proceed using the same process as we did when we converted 40% to a fraction, meaning we're going to take 3/4% and drop the percent sign and write the number over 100. So we would have 3/4 over 100. Next, we're going to rewrite 100 and write it in such a way that it really emphasizes or sets off the fact that we are really dividing one fraction by another. So 100 may be thought of or written as 100 over 1. So that's what we would have in the denominator, and in the numerator we would still have 3/4. So essentially now we're dividing 3/4 by 100 over 1. How do we divide fractions? Well, if you recall, we take the fraction in the numerator and multiply it by the reciprocal of the fraction in the denominator. So the reciprocal of 100 over 1 is 1/100th. So we would then multiply 3/4 by 1 over 100. The next question now is, how do we multiply fractions? Well, to multiply fractions, we would multiply the numerator with the numerator and denominator with the denominator. So 3 times 1 yields 3 in the numerator, and 4 times 100 would yield 400 in the denominator. So now the only other question is whether or not 3/400ths is a fraction written in completely reduced form. We can see that since 400 does not contain a factor of 3, that 3/400ths is in fact written in completely reduced form. So 3/4%, when written as a fraction, becomes 3/400ths. The next part of this problem asks us to convert 3/4% and write it as a decimal. So in order to do this, what we're going to do is write 3/4 as 0.75. So 3/4% in an equivalent form would be written as 0.75%. So now we clearly have a decimal percent that we want to write as a decimal. Well, how do we go about doing that? Well, all we need do is drop the percent sign and move the decimal point 2 places to the left. So 0.75% may be written as 0.0075. So 3/4% may be written as 0.0075 as a decimal.